Hello everyone, my name is Oren, and with collaboration from the IWC, the Israeli wrestling community, I'm going to give you my review of Fyter Fest, the latest pay-per-view installment from All Elite Wrestling that happened this past week from Daytona Beach. And my review is as follows. I will talk about each and every matchup that was on the card, from the pre-show to the main card itself, and by the end of it, I'm going to give it a score between 1 and 10, and there's also a score of 0 if the event was a total catastrophe. So we're starting things off at the pre-show, and the first matchup on the card was a triple threat tag team match between Private Party, the Best Friends, and SCU, represented by Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. Overall, this was a pretty good matchup. Private Party, pretty much the team that got the spotlight in this matchup, with amazing combinations between the two, amazing maneuvering, high flying and all that. But at the end, it was the Best Friend picking up the pinfall over Private Party, and afterwards the Dark Order made their presence felt while threatening the other competitors in the ring. It was a good matchup, but for a company that says that wins and losses matter, wouldn't it been more effective for Private Party, the new kids on the block, to pick up the victory here? I mean, we all know that the winner of this matchup is supposed to get some kind of a bye in the upcoming tag team tournament to determine the first AEW tag team champions. So why not give the rub to Private Party? Let them beat the two other teams, and even though if they lose their first round or semifinal, whatever you want to call it, in the tournament itself, still they would have given the rub to them here and make them more established. Wins and losses do matter. And this thing comes up even later in the night. I'm going to talk about that even when I get to it. Second matchup on the pre-show was the Librarian Leva Bates versus Ali. The match was pretty good. It was pretty decent. Not bad. I think people just don't connect to the Librarian gimmick. I think the whole gimmick just doesn't work as well as the Elite wanted it to work. Maybe it was a bet behind the scenes saying that they can pretty much put over anybody with any gimmick, and the Librarian was pretty much the bet. But overall, it was a good, decent matchup between the two women. The crowd was supportive through minor points during the matchup, and that was good for what it was. The last matchup on the pre-show was a hardcore match between Michael Nakazawa and Jabali. Jabali, if people don't know, is the CEO of CEO Gaming, the gaming organization that collaborated with Kenny Omega last year and brought forth this event, Fyter Fest. The match was, Again, I don't think people connected to it, although they did cheer the competitors during a couple of points in the matchup. The match was good for what it was, and I hope I never see it again. But overall, whatever. We're moving on to the main show, and the first card of the night is Christopher Daniels taking on CIMA. Overall, a very solid technical matchup between the two. Of course, these two have known each other for years. They even collaborated at one point back in the day. The ending comes when CIMA climbs up the top rope and lands a meteor on top of Christopher Daniels for the victory and the momentum going forward as ready to face Kenny Omega at the next AEW pay-per-view, Fight for the Fallen. Overall, a good call. CIMA needed the victory more than Christopher Daniels. Also, the fact that Daniels won the last pay-per-view in the six-man tag against OWE. Good call here. The next matchup was a triple threat women's division matchup between Riho versus Nyla Rose versus Yuka Sakazaki. This match, awesome. This match was awesome. This match ruled. All three women gave it their all. Nyla Rose, of course, showing her strength against the two other women who were willing to double team, whatever it takes to take Nyla down. The ending comes with a roll-up out of nowhere from Riho, who picks up the victory here. A great performance by all competitors in this matchup. Good matchup. Way to keep the ball rolling in this pay-per-view. Good matches on the main card all around. The next matchup was a fatal four-way match between Adam Page, MJF, Jimmy Havoc, and Jungle Boy. I gotta say, coming into this matchup, I thought they were gonna put more focus on the ongoing rivalry between MJF and Adam Page. But I'm glad to say that they actually were able to put the focus on each and every one of the competitors in this matchup. Each and every one of them had their time to shine, especially Jungle Boy. I love the fact that they highlighted his athleticism in the ring, his high-flying maneuvers. This kid is unbelievable. And MJF, of course, before the match started, he dissed the crowd. The line about him playing video games and then losing his until he loses his virginity. Completely awesome. The thing about MJF is it just me, or does anyone also remind him that, for me, MJF is basically Alberto Del Rio if he had a bar mitzvah. That's MJF for me. All kidding aside, I think MJF is phenomenal on the mic, phenomenal in the ring, and I'm pretty sure this kid is going to be a world champion someday. Just got to keep an eye on that guy. Overall, this was a very good matchup. The ending came when Adam Page was able to take MJF out of the ring and finish off Jimmy Havoc with his finishing move, picking up the victory. Overall, a good call. Adam Page continues the momentum going forward as he will face now Kip Sabian in the next AEW pay-per-view Fight for the Fallen. And after that, he is ready to face Chris Jericho for the AEW Championship to crown the first ever AEW Champion. Good call here to let Adam Page take the victory. The next matchup was Cody taking on Darby Allin. I gotta say, the booking throughout the AEW pay-per-views, the All-In pay-per-view, I'm counting that as well, the Double or Nothing, and this one, Cody has the most consistent booking in all those pay-per-views by the fact that his matches are very, very good. I can argue the bookings of the other guys in the group, but specifically for Cody, he's been having the best bookings and pretty much maybe the best performances in all the AEW pay-per-views so far. And this was no different. His match with Darby Allin was very good. He told the story. It pretty much put over Allin in a major way. I just had two very specific points that I really hated about this match. The first point, Darby Allin looks like a very good wrestler from first viewing. I never really knew the guy before this matchup. But that stupid bump he took on the ring apron, jumping from the top rope, landing backwards, is he insane? It was a stupid move. It was a stupid bump. And for me, as a guy watching the product and watching that guy, for me, he lost points. I have nothing against the guy. I don't even know him. But watching a wrestler in the ring, taking those kind of chances when he doesn't have to, it just tells me, why the hell are you doing this? It was a stupid bump to take, and I'm hoping this guy doesn't take any more crazy bumps, specifically like that one. And of course, after the match, the chair shot heard around the world. Shawn Spears hitting Cody Rhodes with a chair shot to the head. Yeah, I read the reports. I heard Tony Khan saying the chair was supposed to be gimmicked. But the end result is still there. Cody has got 12 staples out of the situation. And again, chair shots in this day and age, you don't need to do that. Nobody needs to do that. Don't do it ever again, please. The next match was a 6-man tag match between the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, taking on the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, and their partner Laredo Kid. First off, I liked the homage to Street Fighter, the whole outfits of Matt and Nick as Ryu and Ken. Kenny Omega, who apparently had a malfunction about his costume, still had the drawing of the Akuma sign on his back and the hair thing. Great tribute to people who actually understood that reference. Overall, what can I say? It's another Elite match with crazy bumps, crazy moves, crazy stuff, whatever. It was okay for what it was. If I had any complaints thus far as to this matchup, is the booking. Hear me out on this. You had Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix involved in the 3 pay-per-views they had so far. I'm counting All In, Double or Nothing, and this one. And they lost each and every single one of them. And again, you emphasize the fact that wins and losses do matter in this time and age in your organization. So why are you consistent on making people lose to you and your friends? And the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, every single member of the Elite won, every single friend of the Elite won. For the exception of Chris Jericho and Omega, still Chris Jericho won. He's involved with you guys. And the trend continues here. Seriously, out of all of this, Cody is the only one who's actually being fair because he made it to a 20-minute draw against Darby Allin, pretty much putting him over. Wins and losses do matter. If the Lucha Bros continue to lose to the Young Bucks in these pay-per-views, how am I supposed to believe they're going to be a solid threat in the near future when it comes to championship opportunities? Come on. And we come to the main event, which is not the main event, a non-sanctioned matchup. I never understood that. It's a non-sanctioned matchup, but yet the people walk into the ring with theme musics, and they get the entrances, and they get the announcing. So how can this be non-sanctioned if you had all these activities going around to a match which is basically not a match? So yeah, the match is Jon Moxley versus Joey Janella. Now, specifically to my taste, I hate, and I mean I hate, death matches. I hate the use of fluorescent lights during matches. I hate extreme violence. There's a difference between hardcore matches, like in WWE style or WCW style, and even ECW style to a degree, as opposed to matches, I say like the death matches in Japan or CZW and stuff like that. I really don't like death matches. So for this match to be signed a non-sanctioned matchup, I was ready to this match to be a bloodbath. And luckily, it wasn't. It was brutal. It was violent. It was okay for what it was. I was happy with it. It was just that minor damage, you might say, even with the thumbtacks and the barbed wire and stuff. But for what it was okay. I can handle that. But if they start using fluorescent lights, I'm out of there. Of course, the ending came when Moxley hits his paradigm shift onto Joey Janela on top of the thumbtacks, wins the matchup, and afterwards Kenny Omega retaliates against the attack he suffered on the hands of Jon Moxley, beating the holy hell out of him and putting him through a trash can with his own finishing move, the paradigm shift. And that's the end of the pay-per-view. Overall, it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. Good matches all around. I still have minor points that I really disdain from this pay-per-view. The Jabali-Michael Nakazawa match, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't that good. But it really, if you want to sell people on watching this product and you're putting this on the pre-show in order for them to pay for the pay-per-view, you're not going to do that with matches like Michael Nakazawa versus Jabali. And nothing against Michael Nakazawa. I think it's okay pretty much, but the match against Jabali, it wasn't that much. The two spots in the Cody match, really, I think Darby Allin looks like a promising wrestler. He looks like a great wrestler, but spots, stupid bumps like that really make me say, listen, this guy's insane. It's not even worth watching. I know he can do better than this. And this is the first time I actually watched the guy, so I'm hoping this is not his usual routine. It was just a one-time thing, but who knows? I might be surprised in the end. The win of the Elite versus the Lucha Bros in Laredo. It was a good matchup, but still, if you make the Lucha Bros lose 3 pay-per-views under your banner in a row, how are you going to tell me, how are you going to sell me on the idea that wins and losses do matter, and these guys keep on losing on your terms? I mean, come on. Also, Private Party, a great tag team from what I've seen from their first performance in your banner, your first pay-per-view. But still, if they lose, how am I supposed to believe that they're a credible threat to the tag team championships? And the main event, it wasn't that brutal. It was good. But again, you gotta stop doing stuff. Everybody, any organization should stop doing non-sanctioned matchup and then do entrance and announcing and stuff like that. If it's non-sanctioned, just let the two guys go at it. That's it. My overall grade for this event is a 7 out of 10. It was a good pay-per-view, solid pay-per-view. Minor points that really dropped the pointing level was the chair shot and stuff like the Darby Allin matches. The matches were good, not phenomenal, but they were good. And it looks promising towards the next pay-per-view, which will be Fight for the Fallen on July 13th. And that's pretty much my review. Did you like Fyter Fest? Did you not like Fyter Fest? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, hit a like, subscribe to my channel. It's free of charge, and I'll see you next time on my next review. Thank you for watching.